happy that after 9 months, I could move to Kenya and Tanzania. And their coffee trading was like you would expect coffee trading. I spent every day in the coffee lab. We cupped between 400 and 800 cups of coffees.
Per day?
Per day.
Okay.
We had like the chef roaster. He had a 10-barrel Probat with gas.
Okay.
And he was just roasting like mad. And we were about 5 to 6 people. And every cupper had someone behind him with the book of the exchange and we're writing down all the flavor descriptors, all the notes that you as a cupper were giving, just to make sure that you can cup the 400 to 800 cups of coffee each day.
Jesus. After how many cup of coffee you were losing the flavors? Because for sure, I mean, when I was training for the Cup Taster Championship here locally in Ireland, after a certain amount of coffees, at some points, kind of the coffees tasted the same. So for 800 coffees, after how many coffees you were tasting the same after every coffee?
Many people ask me this question, and for me, I have to say, the more coffees, the better I get. Because at the beginning, I had no experience in coffee at all. I only drank my first coffee during this interview. So the first couple of weeks, the first couple of months for me was extremely difficult to cup coffee because I didn't have any specific training. I also did not have any sensory vocabulary in my head. I mainly went to McDonald's in the morning for lunch and for dinner. So I had a lot to pick up. And I just loved it, you know, and I fell in love with Kenyan coffee, with this sparkling acidity. You know, from time to time, because most of my followers or our followers now, they're specialty coffee enthusiasts. But when you work as a trader and not only in specialty, some coffees will be very rough, you know. You have a foul cup, you have over fermented cup,
phenolic,
many defects. So at the beginning, you know, you go in the cupping room and you taste all those coffees. And after a couple of months, you go into the room and you just sniff, and then you go to the cups and you already put those cups out that already by smelling them, you knew immediately that there must be a defect in the cup. The only trouble I had was when I went for lunch to eat hot dog at the gas station, and there was a very spicy mustard. That was the day, or that was the tricky situation for me afterwards to deal with and to cup. But otherwise, I also don't rinse the mouth. I also don't eat bread or eat crackers. I just go and cup. That's really pure fun, and I don't have like a limit for the caffeine.
That's actually really good. But when you cup, I mean, when I cup, for example, I cup the coffees and I have to split it because if I drink the coffee, I die. So do you do the same? Because, for example, Daniel Horvat, by the way, is the world Cup champion. He actually he swallows the coffee. I have no clue how he can handle it.
You should do the same. So I do the same, you know. I remember very well when I went to Costa Rica for the Cup of Excellence, and there was Saturday morning was like the finals. So you have the 10 best coffee of a country, and everybody was taking the spit cup, and I didn't take it. So, you know, all the people around the table, they said, "Oh, Andre, you need to take the spit cup." And also the helpers, they said, "Take the spit cup." And I said, "No, I'm not mad. Now I'm going to have the best 10 coffees of Costa Rica. I'm going to finish them all."
That makes sense, yeah.
And then even, you know, I didn't spit out. And after everyone filled out and finished the cupping forms, I looked at them. I said, "Are you fine when I finish the cups?" And I finished all the cups. So, you know, it's rare to have such good coffees prepared perfectly for you and in front of your nose is perfect, you know.
Well, I think that's going to be for me a different scenario. A few days ago, I was cupping a coffee from Mikava State Coffee.
Yeah.
And I was copying. My mind was blown away from all the flavors that I found there. And I asked the other copper, "Are you going to keep copying?" He was like, "No, I'm finished." Oh, so I understand with certain coffees I will do that, but if I'm copying like, man, I can't. It's like I really if I'm copying, for example, let's say 20 different coffees. If I swallow the coffee, my head start hurting. I get
Okay.
migraine, so I can't. Lucky
I,
you.
I
You're
think
very
it's very
lucky.
individual, you know, for the roaster that I used to work now in the past. They roast a lot of Robusta. And the quality guy in the lab, he also had like a limit to caffeine. And I remember they once had problem with Robustas from Vietnam. And he had to cup like one day more than 100 different Robustas from Vietnam. And he called me in the morning and said, Andre, I just finished the second table. I cannot anymore. Could you please come and help? And okay, these coffees I didn't drink, you know. And there is, it's not a cupping for flavors. It's just a cupping to, you have 10 cups.
Yeah.
You will allow maybe 2 cups, which are a little bit rough or earthy or whatsoever. So it's more about the check for defects. And if it's fine, or let it go. And if there are more than 2 cups, okay, then you need to do another 10. So it's
This
a
is
different kind of cupping. So, but cup of excellence, definitely I will not spit out.
uh, yeah, that's one of my dreams actually in my career to reach to be a judge for the Cup of Excellence. And it's very interesting everything you're mentioning because there is a lot of. I mean, I get many times I get the question like, do I need to have any prior experience in coffee if I want a cup coffee? If I wanna no, and you actually are saying that you didn't have any experience
Yeah,
whatsoever. And I'll say to our viewers, if you guys doesn't have any experience at all in coffee, you don't have to.
no,
Look
really,
what
that's true.
Andre, yeah, look what Andre have achieved, and he started without no experience. All you need is hard work and make sure that you love what you do, and you're going to reach really far away. And it's I want to continue with all this because it's very man, you are very passionate about coffee. It's like my God,
Yes, yes.
and it's like why okay you went to work for Volcafe and then Volcafe sent you to Tanzania to Kenya. By the way, you love Kenyan coffee, I know that.
I do.
And then I also I don't know, man. So the other day I got the question, Roger, what is your favorite coffee, your favorite coffee region? They said, for me, none, because every single coffee region offers you something different. So but anyway, my question is wait, my question is, if you were so in love in coffee at that point, why you switch and you went to work in the cosmetic industry? What happened?
You know, I sometimes get bored very quickly. So you might see now I'm working like day and night. I wrote the book, I competed, so I do many, many, many things. There, the things got a little bit repetitive, and I have been working for them like 45 years, and I have already had like some amazing projects, and I met super cool people. And especially the final project was about moving a coffee production from Austria and Germany to Italy, and then redo the blends, do the packaging, work on the advertisement. We even worked on new TV advertisement, doing the TV spot. So for that project, I could really do everything I had ever learned. So from the creative side to strategic to production to sensory. So
Wow.
that was like, how should I say? For me, it was like the climax. And it was in commercial coffee. And I thought I can never, ever do any better than that. So I moved to cosmetic industry, which is
That's very
also good. But then after 3.5 years, I had the possibility to either become the CEO of cosmetic brand or to start again in coffee.
okay. After working all the time in the cosmetic industry, what do you think we as a coffee industry we can learn or we can apply from the cosmetic industry? What do you think can we use?
It's not the same margin. I mean, I worked for the biggest cosmetic company in the world, L'Oreal. So you cannot, it's a money printing house. But what I have seen there, the most successful people at L'Oreal are like, we used to call them like the talents. There's not a real process at L'Oreal that you can follow to launch a product. It's more about who has the best idea, who has an amazing network, and who can make things happen like in a magical way. And at L'Oreal, you didn't have to go to work in a suit and a tie. And some people, when you saw them coming in the morning, you were like, oh, what happened to them? And funny enough, you know, the best meetings I ever had, or the best ideas that we ever generated, they were like in the little coffee area. Because people there, you know, they discussed in a very informal way their ideas. And then you had, for example, the general manager of the luxury or the hair division. He came in and he said, oh, you know, I worked as a DJ in Amsterdam last weekend. So I have this idea because from the music people, we can do this. The other guy said, oh, I just came from an art exhibition, and they came up with those ideas. So what I think we can learn is that in coffee, we have many people who are very talented, but most of us, we only stay in coffee. So maybe we can learn from my experience in cosmetics that it really makes sense to go out of our industry and to see what else is around in other industry and what we could take in to grow our own industry. I think this is important. I met many people, they started in coffee and they stayed in coffee for their entire career, which I mean is amazing. But then somehow you get a little bit narrow-minded. So I think we should be open to new ideas, even outside of our beautiful coffee world.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I have seen a lot of super talented people working as a barista, very talented barista. I consider that whoever is, I mean, from my short experience in the coffee industry, of course, I have seen that whoever is, I have a friend who is, he's not graphic designer, but he's very talented drawing. And he's also a very talented barista. And when I see, there is a kind of a pattern. When I see a person working, talking about only coffee right now, but when I see coffee working, for example, as a barista, and they are talented in other field, they usually bring that talent to coffee as well. So it is very interesting to see how people that the same, you may not be an expert in coffee, and that's not wrong, because in the coffee industry we have experts such as yourself, Andre. So I think that if we have, if out there we have all these talented people, graphic designers, photographers, marketing directors, that they may think, hey, we can help the coffee industry to grow. By growing, I'm talking about how, as a coffee industry, we can bring back to the coffee producers something for them to keep producing better coffee. Yeah, so for all of you, yes, we are open, guys. Just come and help us.